It was a freezing winter night in the huge mansion of Mr. Adrian Cole, a self-made millionaire known for his strict rules and cold heart. His house was filled with luxury, chandeliers, marble floors, and golden curtains, but inside, it lacked warmth. Adrian had lost his wife 2 years ago, and since then, he had buried himself in work, forgetting what compassion even felt like. He lived with his infant son, Ethan, who was mostly cared for by a young maid named Lena. Lena was kind, humble, and hard-working. She had come from a poor village, leaving her own baby behind to work in the city. Every day she cared for Ethan as if he were her own child, feeding him, playing with him, and whispering lullabies to help him sleep. Adrian barely noticed her. To him, she was just another employee. But that night, everything changed. Adrian had returned late from a business trip. The mansion was quiet, the lights dim, and the soft crackle of the fireplace echoed through the hall. As he stepped inside, tired and cold, he dropped his briefcase near the door. He was about to head upstairs when he noticed something unusual in the living room. Near the fireplace, on the hard marble floor, Lena was lying there fast asleep, wrapped in a thin blanket, holding baby Ethan tightly in her arms. The baby's tiny fingers clutched her uniform, and her face showed both exhaustion and peace. Adrian froze. His heart, usually untouched by emotion, felt something stir. She slept there, all night, he whispered to himself. He stepped closer and realized that the couch nearby had been left spotless. She hadn't even used it. She had chosen the cold floor to make sure the baby stayed warm by the fire. He looked at her hand. It was slightly bruised, perhaps from working too hard. The sight broke something inside him. For the first time, Adrian saw her not as a maid, but as a mother, someone who gave love without expecting anything in return. He gently picked up the baby, afraid to wake her, but as he did, Lena stirred. She quickly sat up, her eyes wide in panic. "Sir, I'm so sorry," she said softly, trembling. Ethan woke up crying and the heater in his room stopped working. "I didn't want him to get cold, so I stayed here. I must have fallen asleep." Adrian looked at her, speechless. There was no excuse needed, her actions spoke louder than words. He looked at the tiny baby sleeping in his arms and then back at Lena. "You didn't have to sleep on the floor," he said, his voice unsteady. She shook her head gently. "Sir, as long as he's safe and warm, that's all that matters." Her words pierced his heart. He hadn't heard kindness like that in a long time. He silently nodded and said, "Go get some rest in the guest room. From today, you're not the maid. You're family." Lena was shocked. "Sir." "I can't," she started, but he interrupted, "You've done more for my son than I have. That ends tonight." The next morning, the mansion felt different. For the first time in years, laughter echoed through the halls. Adrian had breakfast with Lena and baby Ethan. He asked her about her own child, and when he learned she hadn't seen him in months, he made a decision that changed her life. A week later, he flew her mother and baby to the city, giving them a small house near his estate. "You shouldn't have to choose between your work and your child," he told her. Tears filled her eyes as she realized what a miracle had just happened. Days turned into weeks, and Adrian slowly became the man he once was, kind, compassionate, and full of life. He often watched Lena play with both children in the garden, smiling in a way he hadn't since his wife passed. People at work noticed the change too. He started treating his employees with warmth and generosity. One evening, as the sun set behind the mansion, Lena thanked him quietly. "Sir, you've changed my life." Adrian smiled, looking at his son and her child playing together. "No, Lena. You changed mine. You reminded me what love really means." The story of that night, when a millionaire found his maid sleeping on the cold floor with his baby, became a reminder that true wealth isn't measured in money, but in kindness and love, and from that day, Adrian made it his mission to help struggling mothers and families. He started a charity in memory of his late wife, helping women like Lena find dignity and safety. The cold mansion that was once silent became a home filled with warmth, laughter, and second chances. So remember, sometimes the smallest act of love can melt the coldest heart. Forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more.